Well, once upon a time, this used to be the season opener before it fell victim to a pandemic reshuffling. But now Albert Park is back at the heart of the F1 calendar, so welcome to sun-kissed Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix. Edging out Lando Norris, edging out Lando Norris, edging out Lando Norris.
Hello everyone and welcome to something just a little bit different. I am going to start doing 100% races at the track where the F1 circus is heading to for that race weekend. So we're starting off here in Australia, last to first in Charles Leclerc's Ferrari on 110 AI. The lights are coming on, should be starting anytime soon now. And it's lights out and away we go, and we have a pretty shocking start actually. As you can tell, we're on par with Sargent, so if you're matching Sargent, that's just already a whole world of troubles as we're down the inside into turn one, and you can see there being very aggressive off the line because the AI on 110 difficulty are, well, they're as difficult as they can be. So down the inside now into turn number 3 there, just avoiding contact with Ricciardo very narrowly there. But we've escaped without any trouble, and we're up into P16, so we've dispatched of quite a few slow cars already, which is, the important thing to do, because as the front runners start to get away, we really need to get a move on and get past all these slow cars first to stop them from gaining that competitive advantage on us that they will get by just increasing the gap. And as we just sink into the midfield, we'll, slot in, we'll be doing their lap time, so we have to be very aggressive here, rallying outside of Daniel Ricciardo. Turns to the inside here, very pointy, this Ferrari, the way I've got it set up, and it's kind of to my liking. But you can see here losing the back end massively there, nearly going into Albon. I was caught out as to how early he was braking. I should realise that there's a concertina effect there, as all the AI are very bunched up in these early stages of the race. But that is the end of lap 1, and you can see we've done reasonably well. We've got through 5 cars. We're up into P15, and this sets us up well for the rest of the race. So you can see now on lap 2, taking some liberties here, and that was just well, Albon just surrendered there. I mean, show Alex Albon a front left tyre to his rear right tyre, and he'll just fold immediately. As you can now see, we've gone wide, misjudged that braking zone. Might be an issue for us in this race. Of course, that corner was reprofiled quite a few years ago, but I've not really played the F1 games that much in recent times. So down the inside of Alexander Albon, a little bit of contact there. Yeah, just really struggling to get the car slowed down clearly in these early stages of the Grand Prix, as Fernando Alonso sets the fastest lap there. So Alonso currently in that Aston Martin is the pace setter. So we now cut on to lap 5. We're all over the back of Valtteri Bottas here. I'll be looking to hopefully make another overtake into turn number 3. Goes defensive, but kind of rolled out the red carpet for me, and I just don't take advantage of it at all. Run too deep. Bottas gets me back, so looks like I'll have to go back to the drawing board on my approach towards this overtake, as we're now on the back of Bottas here. I'm not going to go down the inside into this corner because it's hardly even a braking zone anymore. We're now in the slipstream, and we are going to open the DRS now, and it should just be a very straightforward overtake down the inside. Might use a bit of battery here, yeah, just so I can get the racing line, clear him enough to get a normal racing line, because these corners here, well, I've mucked them up there, but it really seems to be a place where you can gain time over the AI, and we need all we can get, on the max difficulty. And you can now see Ocon there braking very abruptly as he's battling with Stroll. Battling with Stroll and Ocon, I mean, this is just a recipe for disaster there. As you can see, I've almost shown it right there. You can see just how aggressive these two are being. And, well, looks like I'm going to have to really think carefully about this. These drivers, there isn't I believe there is like an aggression rating. I don't know how high Stroll's is, but if there was an awareness rating, his would be 0. So I don't know if they take that into consideration, is what I mean. But you can see here into turn 1 and turn 2, taken quite nicely there. As you can now see Ocon once again on Stroll, and Stroll, Jesus Christ, brake harder. I know he gets gravel and tarmac confused, but the gas and brake pedal too, Jesus Christ. We're going around the outside of him here, and that's Stroll dispatched of, and now we just got to get Ocon. And in that Alpine shouldn't be too difficult really. They have not got straight line speed at all. So just coming through here. Ooh, losing the back end there and massively on exit. Really losing the back end here. Just struggling like crazy in this Ferrari. And oh no, we're not going to get overtaken by Stroll, are we? I mean, that's just when you know that your life has just hit a new low. Anyway, we're all over the back of Ocon here on lap 10. And we're going to go up the inside into this left-hander. Went a bit deep there, but it was okay. I was just able to deploy maximum cheating tactics there and just cut the next corner. I mean, if the game lets you get away with it, then why not? Anyway, we're going on to lap 12 here, and you can see a few front runners have come into the pits now, which promotes us up into P9, but of course, we have to stop as we're now all over the back of Gasly here. Simple move around the outside, and job done. Now, at this point, I was informed that it may start raining later on in the race. You can see we set fastest lap there, so we're really putting a marker down right now. But I was informed that it would be raining near the end of the race, as Oscar Piastri just spoils my party there. And so I thought that I could try and do a one-stop here, stay out on the hards until the rain comes, and then I'll gain a free pit stop essentially in terms of track position. And I think that is what is going to undo or revert the deficit that I currently have to the cars ahead. So this, I think, will really put us in the money here. Will put us in a good position to fight for a podium, and if we even play our cards right, maybe even a win, as our teammate Sainz comes into the pits. And I believe he's actually leading this race, so Sainz trying to, looks like he's remaking his iconic Australian Grand Prix win in 2024. And if I'll have anything to say about it, I'll try and take that off him, of course. But you can now see it's just me and Lewis who have not pit now of the front runners. And you can also see Piastri pit quite early for a set of soft tyres, which is why he beat our fastest lap. You can now see on lap 22, Hamilton is in the pits and we're now in the lead. And when you're in the lead of a race, it kind of does something psychologically to you. You think, you know what, I wanna win this now. I've led the race. I feel like I can win this. But Verstappen's 8 seconds behind. He's actually ahead of Carlos Sainz, and they will be approaching us very quickly. So we've got to do our best here to put in consistent lap times and just try and hang on here on our very worn out rubber. As you can now see, this is Max trying to get past Oscar Piastri there, going around the outside, and that's the job done. As we're now coming through the left right hander again, my favourite corners on the track because you can cheat. And look at that, actually, Sainz and Verstappen fighting along here, and Max drained all his battery trying to get past Piastri. Now because of that, Sainz has now gone in for the lead, and that's literally a reenactment of the real life overtake he did on Max. You can now see later on the lap Max being overtaken by Oscar on those option tyres, as Lewis is now all over the back of Max. So wow, Lewis and Max getting close to each other. It's always a recipe for fun times, as Stroll just puts a complete downer on the race by setting fastest lap there. I mean, knowing that Stroll is lapping faster than you, it just I mean, I could use it as fuel, but at the time I was just thinking, holy shit, we are slow. But this strategy, we're never going to be fast. It's just all about holding track position. But
rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
we just
Definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Thank you. We just have to hang on for 10 more minutes, according to the engineer, before the rain starts coming. So if I can just hang on to this lead now, but I don't really want to hold up my teammate too much. It just seems like a pretty bad thing to do, even if it is just a game. It's just, I don't know, holding up your teammate and screwing over his as well as your own race. It's just something that doesn't sit well with me. Now, so we've got yellow flags, and that's Zhou Guanyu, I believe, who has retired from this race. Although no safety car, which is odd for me. I've got it on the standard setting, but it was in a pretty vulnerable position there. It's surprising they didn't even throw out a VSC. But to be honest, I don't really need a safety car right now. Actually, no, if a safety car did come out, I would just pit for a set of softs and just come at these guys. But looks like we haven't got that. And now at this point, I'm thinking, yeah, we've just got to let Sainz through. We have to let him go, because we're just going to ruin his race and our own. So you can see here, I'm not using my battery. I'm just going to let him go through, but you can see he doesn't go through for some reason. Why on earth is he not going through? I mean, look at this. He's just driving into the back of me here. He almost did. He had to lift off there. That's just so stupid. Why did the AI do that in this game? That's just such a dumb thing to do. I'm clearly letting him go, but I don't want to come off the accelerator, you know. I need all the time I can get. I don't want to lose time. And you can now see here, once again, just, I mean, okay, to be fair, I probably should have just lifted off there and let him go, but come on, man, you've got to work for it a little bit. Can't just expect me to lift off the throttle, but it looks like, as we cut back to my camera, he may have a chance now. He goes up the inside, and I lose the back end there, and holy hell, almost took us both out. I mean, that would have just been taking your team out, taking your teammate out from a Ferrari 1-2. That is just that's hysterical. But you can now see once again, Sainz, the AI just seems to have no tactics with their battery. He's essentially drained all his battery here, and I'm literally having to lift off to not re-overtake my teammate. And how crazy is this? He's on fresh tyres, all the grip in the world, and I'm not having to lift off. And look, he's going defensive. He's going defensive here. So, you know, at this point, I'm thinking, mate, I've got Max right behind me. I need to really defend from him. As you can see, I lose the back end there. Now, what I didn't realise at this point was my steering wheel was kind of blocking my screen where the wheel was. So I didn't actually see that I was in overtake here. So I'm thinking that I'm saving, I'm preserving the battery. So now I'm thinking that I'm putting it in overtake, but I've actually put it in medium. I have no battery. And so because of that, Verstappen and his good friend Hamilton goes straight past me, and looks like bloody Norris fancies his chances. Don't think he has the aggression to do that though. As you can now see, that has potentially cost us a place on the podium, just because I was not looking at my screen properly, and you know, I just had it inverted in my mind. I thought I was in overtake when I wasn't, and when I thought I was conserving my battery, I was in overtake, which is also why I lost the back end. So yeah, pretty disappointing there, but you know, it is only lap 30 of 58, and we are still in P4 from the back of the grid. So let's see what we can do here as Lando Norris goes straight past us. Okay, so we're down to P5 now. That's now cutting on to lap 31. Looks like Fernando is also going to come past us, although I go defensive and hang it around the outside. Alonso sees better of it, or thinks better of it rather, and doesn't decide to go for the overtake. So you're currently in P5 still, so I got again go wide. I really am struggling for grip at this point. As you can now see, Fernando just goes past me. Nothing I can really do about that. He's got the straight line speed, he's got the DRS, he's got all the grip in the world, and for me, I just don't have any of those things. As you can now see, we've got Russell right behind us now, and looks like we'll have to shift our attention towards him, as we're not going to re-overtake Fernando, let's be real. Even though he's in the Aston Martin, he's got much more grip than us. So now this is just all about hanging on to P6 here. Maybe we can at least beat one of the front runners in this Grand Prix. As you can now see, coming onto the main straight, deploying the battery here. And is Russell close to us? Oh no, looks like we're cutting to Sainz under pressure and locking up there as Hamilton and Max fighting each other. I mean, man, if Max and Lewis fight too much, one of them's going to be 50G deep in a barrier or parked on the other one's head, so something to watch out for there. There's yellow flags, and Max Verstappen is out of this race. Reliability issues, I don't know, maybe EA didn't patch out the asymmetric braking. You know, at least we know Lando won't win now, because God forbid he ever takes advantage of Max's misfortune if last season's anything to go by. Anyway, Max is out and Perez is in his natural habitat fighting with the AlphaTauris, so yep, Christian Horner just having an absolute whale of a time right now. We still have George Russell behind us. We still have a job in our hands here to keep George Russell behind and hopefully bag what is now a top 5 finish, because Max is out of this race. So we'll also take the pressure off Sainz a little bit, but he will have Lewis to contest with. You can now see coming into this third sector, really I'm just fighting with whatever I can. I mean, the grip is just, I mean, it's just not there. There is just no grip at all on these tyres. Making George go the long way, but doesn't look like he's going to attack, so I'll go back to the racing line to get a better line through the first 2 corners. And you can now see I've lost the back end And that's going to put George right on the back of me here. But again, looks like with the straight line speed of the Ferrari, I'm just going to hang on here. So as the rain now comes down, the rain is coming down, so this is our time to shine. You can see I'm already losing the back end here. The rain clearly having an immediate effect on the track surface, so this should just be hopefully a matter of time before we have course to switch on to the intermediate tyre. But right now I need to focus on George Russell. I've run out of battery at the worst possible time here. George with DRS, is he going to go for a move? No, he's not. He's not going to do it. I mean, that just works out great for me because I can just cheat through these two corners. And look at that, I pulled out half a second on him. So, if I can just keep George in, if I can just keep George behind me, up until the crossover point, as I lose the back end massively there. The grip is just out of the window and it's raining now. So if I can just keep George behind us, I just need to minimise the mistakes just like that as I lose the back end again. Me and George make a little bit of contact, and now surely this is George's best chance to get past us. I just went down the inside. I knew I wasn't really going to make it, and just like Bottas, George goes through. So we have now been overtaken by all the front runners, both Mercedes, the Ferraris, my teammate of Carlos Sainz, and of course Max and Alonso as their teammates, Perez and Stroll. I mean, calling them front runners, it's just an insult to actual front runners, as we go very, very deep there on lap 36, really just struggling for grip now. As we now come through this right hand there, missing the apex and losing the back end, and that for me, as I hit the wall but somehow get no damage there. Well, my engineer thinks we should stick on the tyre we've got, but when you just have that one moment and you think, yeah, this is enough, I need to change tyres. That's it, because either way, the tyres are so spent, even if it wasn't raining, I'd have no grip, so either way, this is the best thing to do, is to come into the pits for the intermediate tyres, but I've lost a lot of time to George with that spin. Hopefully, if I have aced this crossover point, maybe I can get close to George, but it needs to be a very, very good outlap. As you can see, Ricciardo is now right behind us in the Toro Rosso, and hopefully he won't be able to get a run on us. I don't think he'll have DRS because he was not with me at the detection point, and nope, so we have survived this. So now this is all about doing the best outlap possible, just trying to maximise this while we can. As you can now see, we are pulling away from Daniel Ricciardo, but again, that car is dog shit and his tyres are very old at this point, so it's not really indicative of our pace, but pulling away from a car, it's never a bad sign. So we can now see our teammate is in the pits, so Carlos has come in and so has George as Lewis leaves his box here, and luckily Carlos has remained in the lead as George now comes into the pits, and Mercedes having to double stack there, but looks like no problems there. Now seen going on to lap 38, 20 laps left of this race.
Reminder that you can play around with the RS modes in the MFD, or lift sometimes and ease onto the brake pedal for some manual recharge.
Yeah, cheers, I totally didn't know that. As you can now see, I'm damn, I was pissed off with him clearly at the time, and I'm pissed off with him in post-commentary, so yeah. Guess my opinions of the engineer have not changed that much, but at this point in the race, for whatever reason, we were just so damn slow. Yeah, I'm clearly not a very good wet weather driver, as I lose the back end massively there. Hopefully I don't do that again. But yeah, clearly I'm not the best in the wet, because we're on par with these guys in terms of pace before, and now Russell's about a second a lap faster than us, so yeah, this is turning into a pretty lonely race, although as you can now see, Piastri is behind us, and he's brought Stroll with him. So, I tell you, I did not expect to be racing Stroll in this race. You can now see Lando out of the Grand Prix. So that gives us another position, back into P5. So, you know what, this isn't too bad now. We're in P5, we may be slow as shit, but hey, last to fifth around Australia on the maximum AI, I'll take that. But the track is now drying out, and it is time, I think, to go back onto the dry tyres. So I'm going to come into the pits now. Will Oscar or Stroll follow me in? No, they do not. So hopefully we ace this this outlap here. I've gone onto the soft tyres because I'm thinking, look, we've only got 10 laps left. You know, surely the soft tyres on, you know, on the track it's very damp and, you know, it's going to be difficult to get tyre temperature. You want the softest compound. So, you know, I was quite confident with my strategy choice here. I'm thinking, I don't think we're going to get Russell. The rain has kind of taken us out of that fight, unfortunately, including my spin as well. And you can now see just how slow we are. Ricciardo once again is right there. So we gained nothing on Ricciardo in the Racing Bull. That is pretty embarrassing in a Ferrari to have matched the same time as Ricciardo in the AlphaTauri. That is just, that's pretty awful. But, you know, it doesn't matter. It may have been a bad stint, but we'll put it behind us and we'll try and make up for it in this final stint here as Piastri. It looks like he may have got the jump on us. I'm going to try and go around the outside, but it's just kind of a losing move, isn't it? Because Piastri's always going to have the racing line there. He's always just going to take his normal racing line, and I'm essentially driving into a wedge, so had to back out there, but it wasn't without contact. But luckily, once again, our front wing clearly very, very strong, very, very tough, and we get away with it. So we've got 9 laps to go in this race, and you can see all the AI have come out on either mediums or hards. Now, I was getting flashbacks to Silverstone at this point in 2024. I actually went to that race, by the way. Don't need to flex, but yeah. I remember, you know, when Lewis was on the soft tyres and Max on the hards was way quicker than him, and it just seems like in these conditions, maybe that's the way to go. Maybe the soft tyre just isn't really a viable race tyre when there's a transition from wet to dry. I just don't see, however, how EA will put that in the game as somehow I was so indecisive there about getting past Piastri. I was pretty annoyed at this point because of that really awful stint in the Inters, but yeah, so indecisive, I just drove into the back of him, and once again, my front wing somehow is just indestructible, clearly. As you can now see, well, that's some great editing from me. I meant to crop those bits out, but you can see there, that was definitely my fault, forcing Piastri off. You can now see Sainz sets the pace. He's still leading this race, and is looking, you know, he's looking on track to win this Grand Prix. As you can now see, it's just me, Piastri, and Stroll in this battle. And you know, it's just our own little localized group. I kind of love how in F1, as the race progresses, cars just separate from one another into their own mini battles. It's a bit like the observable universe, how as it expands and we're just kept together by our gravitational forces in our localized group, as others accelerate away from us. And speaking of accelerating away from us, yeah, Piastri is now ahead of us, and well, we clearly don't have any pace in this stint when Piastri on the hard tyres has gotten past us. So we're going to have to just tuck into the slipstream and see if we can get him back here. Looks like we've got some good overspeed, but yeah, I'm not feeling that daring to go for the overtake here. Looks like we're just going to have to sit behind him as Hamilton really setting the pace now in that Mercedes in this Grand Prix. So we've got, what, a handful of laps to go. And it's us versus Piastri versus Stroll, and this, I can't lie, it wasn't the race that I was expecting. I just really wasn't expecting to be battling with Stroll in the Aston. I would have hoped to have been battling at least with the other Aston Martin, with an actual F1 driver in it. But yeah, I guess you have to take what you're given in this world. So, on the back of Piastri now, just trying to stay close to him and save up some battery. Just trying to get close to him here, but realistically I'm not going to go for an overtake now. It's just not an overtaking spot, really, given how far back I was from Oscar. So really it looks like it's going to have to be on the long straight in the third DRS zone. Got a lot of DRS zones up this track. See here, getting a decent exit, saved up a little bit of battery. We're in the slipstream, and now we should get DRS in 100 meters here. There we go. And can we do anything now? Looks like we're too far back, I don't think I'm going to go for that. Oh, bloody hell, I should have more confidence in myself. Look at that, I've gone round the outside. And I did not have much faith in my former self there, but I went for it, and well, that was a pretty bold overtake there. Piastri giving me the space there, which is good, otherwise we would have definitely crashed. You can now see Oscar being overtaken by Lance. I mean, bloody hell, if that's not bad enough. being mugged off by me. Now Lance all over the back of him, but Lance is not able to get past him, and so now I'm going to have to deal with Piastri again on this back straight. He's a little bit far back, but he's in the slipstream, he's got the DRS, and I think he might go for it here. Not quite. As you can now see, I'm deploying maximum cheating tactics here because I was pissed off that my teammate was lapping a second a lap faster than me, and I wanted to get on his pace when I really should be focusing on the race behind me. But hey, these are just the... Sometimes in life you just don't focus on the important things. But you can now see Piastri. Is he going to go around the outside? Yes, he is. And no, not Stroll too. No, you can see here in my driving, I was like, I'm not having that. I went straight back down the inside. I didn't even care if I totaled my car at this point. I was just like, no, that's just not happening. I'm just not being overtaken by Stroll. So yes, I got a warning for a collision with him, and I take pride in that. You can now see all over the back of Piastri, he's harvesting. So this is a good opportunity for us to get the position back. Where are we going to go? This time we don't just drive into the back of him, we go down the inside. More contact still. I'm just not very good at racing, am I? I'm pretty trash at racing side by side with AI, evidently. You can now see, coming in the final sector here, on the limit there of braking, as we now cut to the last lap of the race. I mean, just look at that gorgeous cheating going on there. Just pushing the absolute limit out of this car. I mean, wow. I'm just shocked that the game allows you to cut the corner that much, to be honest, without losing grip. As you can now see, Alonso and Russell fighting on the last lap in Australia. Forget how that one ends. Oh, got a snap of oversteer through that fast corner there. It's a good thing I didn't crash because I haven't got a car in front of me to blame it on. Anyway, I've got Piastri all over the... Oh, no, actually, Stroll's got him. Oh, wow. This shows how much I've been paying attention to the battle behind me. Stroll has now got Piastri. They're fighting side by side, and they're just letting me essentially run away with this position. But, hey, I'll take that. As I managed to take that left-right-hander flat there. That is incredibly realistic. But looks like now, pretty much a straightforward, a couple corners to go. And it will be a guaranteed P5 for us now. Just coming through this corner here.
Stay out.
I am stupid.
Position.
Come on, Charles. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Carlos Sainz wins.
And let's not underestimate how hard it is for these drivers to know exactly what's happening with the conditions. When you're in the car, have drops falling onto your visor, it's hard to know whether those drops are actually sticking to the track, if water's building up, or if it's still dry. So it's a tough call to make, and it is really a question of risk versus reward. So great decisions made by this driver today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again. With that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
It's crazy how I was taking the piss out of Stroll the entire race, and yet I crumbled and made a mistake whilst under pressure from him. That's it, by the way. I don't know what you're waiting for. You might as well click off the video. I literally, after that shoddy performance, I didn't even bother to record a race review. I'm literally using the PS5 microphone in the controller right now. which is why I sound like F1 radio quality.